Salutations, crustaceans. I'm Lobster, and today we're going to be having a look at the brand new 6 series, the V6 and the P6 from Sire Guitars. And big thank you to Sire for sending me these basses for our reviews. So let's have a look at these very interesting and honestly very welcome instruments. One of the biggest complaints, especially on early Sires, was the weight. The weight of those basses was usually around 10 or 11 pounds, especially for the ash models. I know I have a V3P right now that's around 11 pounds, so some of those basses are definitely really heavy. However, Sire has addressed that with the new 6 series, specifically aiming for lightweight instruments that are very player-friendly. They have revamped the control setup, as well as added lightweight tuners. That's right, we have factory lightweight tuners that aren't hip shots on a non-10 series instrument. A very nice touch here on the new 6 series. They also feature these sandblasted ash tops with a mahogany body in a variety of finishes. Today we have the maple neck with the 3-tone sunburst, as well as for the P6 5-string, we have the metallic seafoam? I don't know what it is, but it's a gorgeous metallic cool color. Both the V6 as well as the P6 here come in at under 8 pounds. I believe they're both around 7.5 pounds, which is very nice for a full-scale instrument, both 4-string and 5-string. They're aiming for all of them to be under 8 pounds, and they usually are from the ones that I've seen, and these are definitely some nice lightweight examples with some cool finishes. Some of the finishes also have rosewood fingerboards, so if maple fingerboards aren't your thing, you can definitely get one of those as well. Let's go over the specs real quick of our V6 and the P6. The V6 and the P6 share identical neck profiles, with the 4-string having a 38mm nut width, a 20 fretboard, we have the rolled edgeless fingerboard design, we have a 9.5-inch radius, as well as, did I forget anything? 34-inch scale, we have our truss rod adjustment down here, and the lightweight tuner is once again a very, very nice and welcome touch. That's something that I've complained about on previous Sire models a lot, and I'm glad that they addressed those. Ugh, my allergies are going crazy this year. I don't know what it is. Well, I do know. It's the nature. Nature's trying to kill me. Stop it. We also have a slightly simplified control layout here with a stacked volume and tone control, a independent blend control so you can go between the neck pickup, the bridge pickup, or both together. And we have a stacked treble and mid control, with the treble being on top, mid on the bottom. You do not have an adjustable mid frequency on this preamp, so this is a more stripped down version of the full-fledged Sire preamp. And then we have a bass control, which is a push-pull for bypass. No longer is there a separate switch for the bypass, instead you just have it in the push-pull here, which definitely saves some real estate and complexity. The bridge is your typical Sire bridge. It does not have the slotted saddles, which I appreciate. I think that this is a very well-equipped bass overall. And yeah, what else is there to say about this instrument? We have 60s pickup spacing here, not 70s. At least, I think so, yeah. 60s pickup spacing. Good stuff. Now let's give this bass a little bit of a play before we move on to our P6. I don't know what that was, but that was fun. Definitely a really nice jazz bass tone that you get from this. That was the tone all the way open and the preamp centered. You definitely get that jazz bass growl out of these single coil jazz bass Sire pickups. we do have a passive tone control here, which is available even when you bypass the preamp. So let's turn that all the way down, hear what that sounds like. And let's just check out our neck pickup solo real quick. Here's that with the tone open. And here's a pick. Let's just grab a pick and do things. So I'm going to put that away now, and let's go over to our bridge pickup, which is in the 60s position. And let's just turn the tone down a little bit, see what that sounds. That was neat. Here's what, let's center the blend control, open up our tone, and let's just do a quick comparison between the preamp bypassed and just the preamp centered. Here's the preamp, and then bypassed. You definitely have more output with the preamp engaged. I didn't look inside to see if there was a gain control, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was. They usually include one in their little preamp, so that is a nice little feature here, and I definitely appreciate the simplified control layout, which is definitely easier to adjust and easier to look down at and understand what you're doing on the go. I know that the full preamp on the Jazz control plate can be a little convoluted or a little cramped, so it's nice to see everything spread out here and easily accessible. And with that, let's move over to our P6 5-string. So this is the P6 5-string. The 5-string also shares the same profile with the 5-string V6, which is a 46mm nut width. This is definitely a chunkier neck than what you get on the P7, which is a little bit narrower and I would say a little bit more like jazz bass-like. This is definitely more meaty, I would say, and almost akin to that of like, it's very close to the size of my MTD, so that is very interesting here. This has the same 9.5-inch profile as well as 20 frets. Both basses feature a matte finish on the fingerboard versus a gloss finish like you see on most other Sires with maple fingerboards. We also have this just very cool metallic seafoam with the transparent grain here, the sandblasted grain that just looks really cool with this metallic finish. We have our jazz pickup here at the 60s position and our precision pickup at the typical P bass position. This is the typical Sire layout, which is the Fender layout of the P bass pickup here. So this is a Fender size pickup. We have the same preamp that we have in the V6, which is again a stacked volume and tone, a blend control, a stacked treble and mid control, and then a bass control that's a push-pull for the bypass. Both preamps are 18-volt preamps, and we do have a battery door that's easily accessible and allows you to swap these batteries very quickly. And it seems to be a very good design. I like the ease of access here. They're easy to open, and I don't really feel like they're super flimsy. We have a 4-screw neck attachment for both basses, slightly angled neck heel, large control cavity as these are rear routed, both instruments, and they have a mahogany body. So that is ash on the front, party in the back. I mean, mahogany on the back. And just like most other Sire instruments, we have string through as well. String through body or string through bridge, your choice. So let's noodle around with this P6 a little bit, and then I have a little track that I recorded that we'll play along with, and I'll go through the different pickup configurations with a backing track. So let's get started. Again, whatever. Yeah. So you get a really nice PJ tone out of this bass. I really appreciate the jazz pickup being in the 60s position. It gives it a bit of a fuller tone, which matches the P a bit better in my opinion. And again, we have the same passive tone control that we can turn all the way down. Here's what that sounds like. Again, a very nice high output PJ tone out of these Sire pickups here. We do have a single coil in the bridge position as well, versus some of the other Sire PJs which have a hum canceling jazz pickup. So there is a difference in tone. You get a little bit more brightness out of this, but I think it suits it well, and I think it sounds pretty good overall. And I don't find the PJ mode being like less in output versus just the P soloed. Speaking of the P soloed, let's solo the P pickup. That was the P pickup with the tone open. Let's just turn the tone down all the way and see what that sounds like. Yeah, so that is our P pickup here on our P6, and then let's go over to our jazz pickup here in the bridge position. Let's have the tone all the way open and our preamp centered. And as I mentioned, we have our 3-band preamp here that allows us to boost or cut the treble, the bass, or the mids, but no mid-frequency selection. That is okay at this particular price point. Did I mention the price? These are $6.99 for the 4-string and then $7.99 for the 5-string, both the V6 and the P6. So that price doesn't change. And these are very well equipped for the price. You have the edgeless fingerboard design, lightweight tuners, nice sounding electronics, simplified preamp, and my elbow just hit that. Good stuff here. Let's go ahead and lay down our backing track now and play along. So that will do it for our quick look of the Sire V6 and our Sire P6. We have the 4-string and the 5-string. Overall, very nice instruments. I think that Sire has done a great job of addressing certain complaints that people have had in past iterations with the lightweight tuners, lightweight body, and the sandblasted finishes. Not so much of a complaint as a really cool feature that you really don't see in many other instruments, especially at this particular price point. Again, this is $6.99 for the 4-string and $7.99 for the 5-string. What else is there to say? I don't know. I like these basses. I think they're easy to play. They're good looking, especially if you dig the sandblasted aesthetic. I think that the finish variety is pretty nice considering the price point. Usually on the sub $1,000 bases, you don't have that many different finish options, especially when those finish options include bursts and metallic finishes with sandblasted grains. So a lot of cool stuff here. Big fan of the 6 series so far, and we'll do a separate video on the M6, which is a headless multi-scale instrument that has a similar fan layout to that of the Ibanez EHB, as well as a similar weight profile. So we'll have a look at that bass separately and compare it to my modified EHB 1005 multi-scale. That will be another video though. That will do it for me and the Sire V6 and the P6 and my allergies. Achoo. Let me know what you think about these instruments, and I'll probably do another video like playing these more at some point, because they're, again, very fun instruments, very well set up. The fretwork has improved on the Sires a lot throughout the generations, and I think that they've done a great job here. Hi, BB. But there's not really much else to look at. They're pretty simple instruments, relatively speaking. Not a lot of frills, but the frills that you do have are nice touches and cool features. So that will do it for me. Thank you all for watching, and thank you, Sire, for sending me these instruments for the review. I really appreciate it. And as always, until we groove again.